Good morning. It is the Fabulous, Fierce, and On Fire Friday episode with Cami Baker and myself, Elena Rahrig from ElenaRahrig.com. Welcome, Cami. How are you?
I am fabulous, fierce, and on fire. And every time people ask me how I am, that is exactly how I answer it. And now I've got to where I tell people, thank you for giving me the opportunity to say that one more time today.
Love it. I know you definitely came up with this Fabulous, Fierce, and On Fire, and it inspires so many people to really be fabulous, fierce, and on fire. I love it. I love your 3 F's. So what is going on with your life right now? I know you have some amazing things going on. You're going to be doing some traveling. So I just want to hear about how you're on fire.
I am going to share that with you. And I just want to say, you know, when people ask you how you are, for those who are watching, if you say, I'm fine, I'm good,
So
I'm getting by. Like, we create our reality through our language and through our vibration. And so when we say those words, we're creating being good. Guys, I don't want to be good. I want to be fabulous. I want to be fierce and on fire. So that's why I say that. And it always elicits that same thing out of people. They smile, they giggle. Even men are like, oh, that's awesome. I wish I was that way. And then I have a chance to talk to them about how they can be that way. So what do I have going on? Well, if you see behind me my vision board, I've got all my little pictures of being on the beach and hammocks and freedom and just prosperity. And it's been my experience over the years that when I have something that I want, when I put it in a vision, imagine that. Oh, look, it's all around my head, actually, in the picture. It swirls around my head. And then when it gets in here and I get an idea, okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. And then when you can get it from here into your heart, go from thinking, I think I want to take a tour down Florida. I want to go down from Boston to Miami. I want to get in the car. I want to just go and just be free and just go speak at trainings, et cetera, and set trainings up and teach people how to don't just go to the event, be the event, be the event, be the event. So I'm going to teach people all the way down the East Coast. Listen, Cami's coming to town. Why don't you put together an event? And you be the event, and I'll just come in and support it. And so it was a swirling thought. It got into my head. I got to thinking, how would I do that? Would I do that? Should I do that? Could I do that? But this is where you get stuck. Bring it from here into here, because once it gets into my heart, it doesn't matter how it's going to happen. It doesn't matter who I'm doing it with. It's just happening. And that's where the explosion comes into the manifest, into the world, and that's where the juju magic happens. That's where people say, well, I've got this idea. I think about it. Stop thinking about it and help it come into your heart. And then it just manifests. So that's what I got going on.
I love that. I have tons of stuff as well, but I love that you brought up the idea, and people protect their idea. Has anyone ever said, well, I'll tell you my idea if you don't steal it or don't tell anybody else? And they think the idea is the big fabulous part, and it's not. The idea is just an idea. And it's the planning of it, the process is what actually makes the idea a reality. And so that's where a lot of people stop. They stop with an idea. And the process is what brings you into the visionary mindset. That's what people lack. You know, they have this idea, but they can't envision themselves getting to a place where that idea is now their reality.
Well, and if I may say, when you talk about, well, I'll tell you my idea, but please don't steal it kind of thing, that's when we're in the fear and scarcity and survival and competition place. When we shift from competition to collaboration, when we understand that competition means that you think there's only one of whatever that is, and it's between me and you. I'm either going to win or I'm going to lose. Like, that's the only one, and I'm competing with you, and if I give you my idea, I can't do it. And I really got clear, even with this tour, talking about how I'm going to do it, getting an auto dealership to sponsor a car and wrapping the thing with logos of companies that can support me and all that kind of stuff. That's a great idea. And I could hoard it, but if I hoard it, it's not going to, first of all, not only is it not going to come into fruition, but second of all, there is no one else on the planet who will do it exactly the way that I have in mind, who will actually take the time to do it, who has the same communication skills, the same contacts, the same experiences, the same any of that. And so, listen, if somebody else wants to do it, fabulous, because if you do it and I'm doing it too, well, then there's just more going on in the universe. Shit, let's have 100 people do it. Because if 100 people are doing it, maybe we can meet up in Atlanta and have a hot night out together with all of our cars out in the hotel parking lot, all wrapped with different logos and a big freaking seminar. Man, now we can be fabulous, fierce, and freaking on fire, because now there's 100 of us in the parking lot, right? So don't hoard your idea. Put it out there, because now that I put it out there, let me give you an example. I had a woman who contacted me 2 or 3 weeks ago. She left me a great message. Hey, I see what you're doing on Facebook. I've got this company and that company. I'd really love to have you come and teach our people how to NetPLAY. I think it's a great concept. So I called her and left her a message, no call back. About a week ago, I called and left her another message, no call back. There's this little piece of paper in my floorboard with her name and number on it. Kind of ended up there, you know. Yesterday, I'm like, I'm going to call her one more time. I get her on the phone yesterday. She answers this time, and this time she answers, oh, thank you so much. I'm honored. I'm honored that you called, which is really fun, because, you know, we just don't know what kind of impact we're having on people. So we're talking and we're collaborating, and she starts telling me about these groups that she's part of, and I start telling her about the tour, and I think I've already found the sponsor, and it's been 1 week since I put it out to the universe.
That's fantastic. I know I got that email from you, and I was super excited for you.
Yeah.
You brought up a lot of things that I want to say. First off, I think it's super cute that you brought up the cars in the parking lot. It brings out your background of car shows.
That's fun.
Yeah, you are such a car woman. I love it. You're going to have to help me pick out a car. So anyways, the other part is the collaborating and the ideas. One of the things I teach when I teach my clients just to get organized, because, you know, they're taking 5 academies from me, and there's super large amounts of content within these academies. And if they're not organized in their computer, in their files, everything, then they end up not getting anywhere. They're getting confused. So I teach them, one of the things is to, you know, color code their folders. And the yellow folder is where all your ideas go, because we can't possibly do all of our ideas. When you have a visionary mindset and a creative mindset, you get ideas every day. And so prioritize, you know, which ones are essential. You know, if you're going to actually implement that idea, put that in a red folder. It's hot. You're working on it now. Your yellow folder is where all these ideas go. Well, knowing that we can't do them all. You know, I had a new client come to me yesterday, tons of money to be made at this project. Definitely I could do it, but you have to consider, can I really do it? Do I have time? I'm not going to neglect all the clients and everything I have going on, but this is a great opportunity. And so that is where collaboration comes in, and delegate your ideas. And so I actually teamed up with Ronald Koeman. Did I say his last name right? I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm always afraid I'm messing that up. But he and I—
He's going to love that plug, by the way. Thank you.
Yes, yes. So teaming up with him, I called him on the phone, and he's an expert in marketing. That's what he does. He does my marketing and building my websites and my membership sites and all that. He's fantastic.
Built my site too.
Yes, he's awesome. And it's just anybody watching, it's RCS Technology Solutions.
Wow.
So yes. So anyways, I called him.
Your nose is brown.
I know, right?
No, I'm kidding.
No, but he's so wonderful. So anyways, this new project came about. Knew I couldn't do it. So I called Ronald, and I said, all right, Ronald, I have a really great opportunity for you. Tons of money to be made, tons of impact. I mean, it's really going to impact across the nation. If we can do this, if we can really execute this and really plan this, we can do it right. I said, but I know that you're the expert in marketing. So I want to pass it along to you, but I want a cut of the profit the entire way, because I'm a businesswoman.
Yeah.
And he said, absolutely. He said, I'll give you 20%. I said, sounds good. So now I don't, it's this idea, this big project that I don't have time or the energy for, because I have so many other great things going on. But guess what? I delegated this idea and this project to somebody else. They're doing it, and I still get a 20% commission off of the entire project as it goes nationwide.
You know, I love that you use the word delegation, because I was just using that at the gym studio that I work out at today, which is the Focus Female with Terry Foster, now that we're plugging people. So anyways, I'm on the treadmill, and I'm talking about delegation. You know, whoever's watching, if everyone has a genius zone. So like Elena's saying, she needs to stay in her genius zone and not get pulled away by the next shiny object that's not really her thing. And so get really clear on what your genius zone is and delegate everything else. I am so clear that where I need to be, where my genius zone is speaking on the stage, training, and net playing. And they're really all three the same thing to me, but that's where I need to stay. I got the big vision of fabulous, fierce, and on fire. I see the logo. I see the t-shirt being made. I see it, but I cannot create it. So I'll explain it to Robin Rapture, who's my illustrator, and she's right-brained. I'm left-brained. I'm just enough right-brained to have a big explosion of an idea, and then I go back into left brain. So I have to be able to delegate and hand that off. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and let's talk about that for a minute, because entrepreneurs really struggle with the delegation part because, one, they want to protect their idea. Two, nobody can do it as good as they can. And three, the big stopper is they don't have money to pay anybody. They can't hire anybody yet because they're still building. And so there are great ways to, when you collaborate, you know, I'm not paying Ronald to do the project. I'm letting, you know, I don't know if letting is the right word, but, you know, I gave him the project and said, hey, just give me a cut. And so I'm not paying him and he's not paying me out of pocket. It's when the money rolls in, right? So it's about, you know, bringing back that visionary mindset, that creative mindset, and say, how can I delegate this without having to pay money and with making everybody happy?
Well, and getting our mindset in the right place, because like, for example, with this tour, you know, I was inspired. It swirled around up here. And when it came into my head and I started thinking about it, okay, how am I going to do this? Who would I do it with? What would it look like? What would sponsorship cost? I don't know. But then when it came into here, I'm just putting it out there. And so now that this, these couple of firms could be potentially a partner in it, I'm thinking, well, they have multiple locations in the country. They'll have an assistant that they can give me to set up the tour, to have stuff shipped to the hotel that I can hand out from their company, et cetera, et cetera. They can talk to the auto dealership and the place that wraps. They can get multiple sponsors to put on the wrapping. Like, so when you talk about delegating and being able to hand off the ball, et cetera, there was a long time ago when I owned a bar, when I was physically in like brick and mortar business, it was really hard to give up the reins because nobody can do it like me. And in all fairness, in this particular situation I was in, when I did step from behind the bar, whoever was behind the bar was putting cash right in their own pocket. And it was really hard to give up control of that. But now the world is so different. There are so many independent contractors. The only thing worse than being an employee is having them. So you don't need to have an employee. There are so many people like Elena, like myself, like other people that are virtual assistants that are doing their own business, and you can collaborate and figure something out where, hey, listen, you know, there is bartering, and you have to be careful with bartering because when you barter with friends, sometimes that can get weird and sticky. But there is bartering. There is, you do this for me, I'll do that for you. And as a matter of fact, there's all kinds of systems out there for that. There's one specific that I'm talking to the woman about where you physically put your, listen, this is what I do. These are my services. These are my products. This is the value of that. And then you look over here and say, okay, this guy has this, and you can barter all that stuff. So being able to delegate is super huge, because when we are in the mindset, the only way to get this done is for me to do it. And nobody can do it like me, and I'm the best at that. Oh my God, talk about getting bogged down in the minutia and stopping your genius from inspiring itself. If I sat around and tried to figure out my website and putting out email blasts and funnels and squeeze pages, first of all, I would cry, throw up, or curl up in a ball and just sleep. And the second thing is I don't understand it, and that's okay. When we get to a place where we know, the more I know I don't know, and the more I know I need to know, and the more I know that I don't need to know that. I don't need to know that. I don't need to know how to put together a funnel. I need to create the content that changes people's lives, that gets them inspired, that has them say, okay, I'm looking for income, influence, and impact, one form or another. And because I'm looking for income, influence, and impact, I understand that I need to communicate. I need to be able to communicate with people so that I can conversate. And when I start conversating, now I need to get into the yummy, juicy goodness of collaborate to create all that income, influence, and impact. If I'm not in that genius zone, shame on me and shame on anybody else who has a genius zone, and you're out there trying to do your website when you should be on the stage.
Amen. And so many great points again, so much I want to say. So that was one of the points is when we are trying to do it all, our genius suffers. And then we're not good at anything. And so if we just focus on the genius and let other people take care of the rest, then we can make our genius even, we can make it elevate. It can, you know, we can grow that. So that's a great point. Now I want to bring us back to, you have somebody sponsoring your tour. Fantastic idea. And really it's an idea I think that we all go through when we're new in business. It's who can we get sponsors for this event? Where can we get people to give us money for our dream? Okay, because we're not selling yet. And so it's our immediate go-to, sponsor. But here's the thing is, most people would have never asked. So whoever it is that you asked to be your sponsor, most people would have never asked. And my dad taught me at a young age, you know, ask and you shall receive. And all you can do is ask. If they may say no, but people are so scared of the word no that they just sit there and say, well, I could get a sponsor, but they don't really ask. Or when they ask, they're super not confident about it and they look foolish and it's like, no one's going to sponsor that. You can't even ask, right? So,
well, that gets back to the mindset of people are worried about, they'll say, Cami, how do I convince? How do I convince somebody to buy my product? How do I convince them to come to my event? How do I convince them to, you need to stop convincing and start connecting. And when I talk about people sponsoring my tour, do I want to get paid $25, $50, $100,000 to take the tour and have a wonderful time? Sure I do. But it's not really about that. It's about the collaboration. I mean, imagine, you know, Mercedes or Lexus or Toyota or Ford or whoever gives me a car, and because they're sponsoring the event, guess what they're going to do? Promote it to their people. And whoever wraps the car, they're going to promote it to their people. And whoever's names are on the logos, they're going to promote it to their people. And whoever the main sponsor is might give me that assistant to just handle all of it. So it's not just, oh, who can I find that'll give me $5,000 and $500 and $25,000 and $50 here, and who will give me stuff? Look, this is about swirling that collaborative energy and saying, listen, you've got a fabulous, fierce, on fire, freedom-seeking woman who can, will, and is doing this with or without you. You can either jump on the bandwagon and be part of the show or not, but the idea in and of itself is not something that they will be able to, somebody, you could say, well, what if they get the idea and they want to have somebody else do it? Fine, find somebody. You find somebody who's got the freedom, who's got the time, who's got the desire, who's got the passion, who's got the content, and who understands, don't just go to the event, be the event, so that as I'm going down the East Coast or the whole country, the whole freaking world before I know it, I am delivering content that nobody else has. Not because there's something super supreme about me, but because I have different experiences, different books I've read, different seminars I've gone to, different people I've coached, et cetera, et cetera. And if they get the idea and they want somebody else to do it, like I said, go for it, because I'll meet with you in Miami and in Atlanta and in Philadelphia and in New York City, and we'll do it together. It's about collaboration. It's not about hoarding the information. It's about getting it out there. And when somebody says, oh, that's a great idea, I think I'll do it. Awesome. You do it, I'll do it. You make me look good, I make you look good. And if you look bad, that makes me look even better. I don't know, whatever, who cares?
Yes, some more good points. I got a point, a question, and then I'm going to make another point after that. Just let you know what you're in for. So, people are scared of competition. You know, networking groups, which are now, of course, NetPLAYING groups, I get asked, well, is anybody else that does hair in the group? Okay, if you're scared of your competition, you're flat out saying that you're not better than your competition.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you know that you're the best, then you can, if I'm a hairdresser and 10 other hairdressers are in the room, if I know that I'm the best, they don't bother me at all, right? Because it's not, they're not going to take away from my clientele. I'm going to show that I'm worth hiring and let me do your hair, right? So it's the same thing though. And if they would collaborate, they could do a really great hairdressing event, or, you know, they could really do something together. And so it is, we got to stop looking at, well, they're my competition. I mean, we're both public speakers and we mentor people, and, you know, we are in the same line of work, but our collaboration is taking us very far. And now we're doing these videos every Friday. So collaborating is get away from competition and collaborate. And I'm sure you can come up with 3 C's for that whole lesson. Stop the competition and collaborate, and add something else to that for us. But so the other thing I want to ask you is, how did you know which sponsor to ask? Are they really, really wealthy? Do they own a huge company? Or is it a friend of yours that has some money in the bank? Or, you know, how did you know? And then how did you ask? What was the process you went through?
Well, in this particular instance, I'm going to say it again because I think this is really, really important. Because this is how everything, the shirt that I'm wearing, the computer that we're on, the light that's on the building I'm sitting in, everything, anything, everything around us, anything was somebody's idea. They had an idea about how to design the building, how to make the shirt, how to make the computer. And it got into their head and they thought, well, okay, I want that to work. How do I make it work? Who can I collaborate with? Is there collaboration? Who's my competition? Where do I get the parts? How do I do this? How do I do that? But there came a point in any one of these different people, including myself, and I'm getting to your point, where they stopped thinking about it and it became a passion. And they started to think to themselves, it doesn't matter who I collaborate with. It doesn't matter who I ask. It doesn't matter where I get the parts. It doesn't matter what it costs. It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter. I'm doing this. And the moment that happens, bam, the universe will conspire to help us. And so to answer your question, it's not somebody that I knew, and it may not even be this particular person, and I'm okay with that. Like, this conversation was so yummy, yes, and it was very quick. It was maybe 10-minute conversation. She was in a loud park, but I had called her and left her 2 messages. This was my third, and here's the trick to this. What numbers do you have sitting on your desk in stacks of business cards? You got the stacks of business cards on your desk, in your purse, in your bag, in the drawer, or you've got 1,000 contacts in your phone, but you're going out networking and you're working your ass off to find new people when you've got people that you could already be calling. You've got people that you could already be conversating with and collaborating with. So what numbers do you have that you're not calling back, that you could call back? And so when I saw that phone number in my car yesterday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this woman one more shot because, you know, I don't know her personally. She left me a nice message. She seemed excited, but I left her 2 messages and I thought, you know, I'm not going to chase anybody. I teach people, don't be the shark chasing people around the room and trying to get something signed. You want to be the fisher person, the fisherman, waiting for people to come to you because you, not waiting, being so yummy, so attractive, so allure that people want what you have and they just come to you. So I called her one last time and I thought to myself, you know what? I don't know this person. So I'll call one more time. And if she doesn't answer, you know what? Because when you get hung up on leads that aren't calling you back, then you also are bogging yourself down and stopping yourself from forward motion. So call her up. She answers the phone. She's fabulous. She's fierce. She's on fire to have a conversation with me. She's excited. She's grateful that I called, blah, blah, blah. And as we're chatting, you feel the synergy. It's like, hey, this is what I have. Oh, this is what I have. I'm kind of interested in that. Well, let's talk about it. And there might be a weaving of the fiber that creates some blanket of unity, and there may not. But I'm clear, I'm conscious, I am aware that it's okay. I'm not going to get attached emotionally. I'm not emotionally attached to this one lead. And I always tell people, stop looking for leads and planting your seeds. That's another call. But when I get on the phone with her, I'll give her my idea. I'll give her inspiration. I'll set up a time to come to New York City and meet with people when they take the time to sit in a room with me, they will catch the vision. Mm-hmm. They will catch the vision and they will sponsor it. And if they don't, that's their loss, because I'm doing it with or without them. It will be fabulous. It will be fierce. And the people who connect with me along the journey will be on fire, and they will be inspired, and they will have fun. And that's why I created NetPLAYING, because I have been to thousands and thousands of events. If it's got a 30-second boring elevator pitch, which I'm the anti-elevator pitch person, if it's a boring 30-second elevator pitch and business cards are involved, I've been there. And I'm so tired of boring. What do you do? I don't like you. What do you do? All right. And people gathering cards and they are trying to convince people to do business with them, and they're not connecting. Mm-hmm. They are hustling and not helping. They are asking for contact information and never conversating, and definitely never collaborating. So I'm on a mission to fix that. So I haven't asked really specifically. These fibers are like this right now. We get on the phone, they're going to start touching. And if they want to play, then we'll create the fabric of what's going to happen.
Yep. And it's so true, hustling. Okay, I've been a part of networks where they say, all right, you have 2 minutes. Go around and collect as many business cards as you can. Oh my gosh, I know, disgusting. And then also the hustling part. I had a guy who called and said, hey, you know, I used to be part of this network, haven't been there in probably 2 years, and I get a message, hey, you want to meet for lunch? Let's catch up. Okay, let's do that. It was an entire sales presentation. There was no, or it was coffee, but it had nothing to do with, hey, what have you been up to? I mean, he had his material and papers and showing me all this, and I was thinking, but that's what, it's just hustling and selling, and really nobody wants to be sold to. Nobody wants to be sold to. You got to build the relationship, and people will do business with you when they like you, and they'll collaborate with you, they'll recommend you, you know, just like when we given a shout out to Ronald today. We like him, we collaborate with him. Of course we want to recommend him. You know, he's super great. But all right, we have been pushing, I think we're over 20 minutes probably, so let's end this. And what I was going to say, we'll just pick up there for next week.
For our next one.
Yes. All right. Well, hey, everybody, remember, be fabulous, fierce, and on fire. ElenaRahrig.com here, and
CamiBaker.com.
All right. Have a great weekend.
Bye.